The first scream cut through the rain-soaked pier like a blade, sharp and panicked, and every head turned too late. By the time anyone noticed, the damage was already done. Fabric torn, dignity violated, a uniform sliced as if it meant nothing. She stood frozen under the flickering dock lights, breath caught in her throat, eyes burning with a mix of shock and fury. Nobody there knew it yet, but the men laughing behind her had just chosen the wrong person to mess with. Before we go any further, if you're into intense true-to-life stories where justice comes fast and unexpected, hit that subscribe button right now and join this channel. You don't want to miss what happens next. Her name was Eva Morales, and the uniform they cut wasn't a costume. It was earned, stitched with long nights, bruised knuckles, and promises kept under pressure. She was Navy, stationed temporarily on the East Coast for joint training, taking one quiet night to breathe outside the base. The pier was supposed to be safe, a stretch of restaurants and bars filled with tourists and laughter. But safety is a lie we tell ourselves until it breaks. The men came out of nowhere, 3 of them, loud, drunk, confident in the way men get when they think numbers are armor. It started with words, crude jokes tossed like garbage. Eva ignored them, eyes forward, steps steady. She had learned long ago that attention is fuel. But one of them moved closer, too close, fingers brushing fabric he had no right to touch. She turned then, voice calm but firm, telling them to back off. That should have been the end of it. Instead, metal flashed, a cheap blade fast and reckless, slicing the side of her uniform. Cloth ripped. Laughter exploded behind her. The sound echoed off the water, ugly and cruel. Ava's training kicked in instantly, heart rate controlled, feet planted, but there was a flicker of something deeper in her eyes. Not fear, not panic, recognition, because 20 feet away, standing half in shadow, someone else had just seen everything. He hadn't planned on getting involved. He was off duty, hoodie pulled low, coffee cooling in his hand, no insignia, no rank. Just another man enjoying the night. But when the blade came out, his body reacted before his mind did. Years of conditioning don't ask permission. They move. The men didn't even see him approach. 1 second they were laughing, drunk on power. The next the world shifted. In one smooth motion, so fast it barely registered. He stepped inside their space. The blade was gone before the man holding it realized his hand was empty. There was no wild fighting, no cinematic brawl, just precision. Wrist turned, pressure applied, a controlled twist that forced the attacker to his knees, breath knocked from his lungs. The second man lunged and found himself stopped cold, momentum redirected, body pinned against a wooden post with terrifying ease. The third froze, suddenly sober, eyes wide as reality crashed in. The entire exchange took less than 2 seconds. Silence swallowed the pier. Eva turned slowly, heart pounding now, not from fear but from adrenaline. She took in the scene, the men subdued, the blade skittering across the dock, and the stranger standing between her and them like an immovable wall. He didn't look angry. That was the most unsettling part. His face was calm, almost bored, as if this was just another problem neatly solved. "Step back," he said quietly, not to her, but to them. His voice carried weight, the kind earned in places most people never see. Security arrived moments later, drawn by the commotion. Phones came out, voices rose, but the fight was already over. The men were cuffed, faces pale, bravado evaporated. One tried to talk his way out of it, slurring excuses. Nobody listened. An officer turned to the man who had intervened, asking who he was. He hesitated, then pulled his hood back just enough for the light to catch his eyes. "Former SEAL," he said simply. "I saw a threat. I neutralized it. No boasting, no drama, just fact. Ava stood there, uniform damaged but posture unbroken. The officer offered her a jacket. She nodded her thanks, but kept her eyes on the seal. There was a shared understanding between them, something unspoken. She stepped closer and extended her hand. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was steady again. He shook her hand once, firm and brief. "You handled yourself," he replied. "They underestimated you." Later, after statements were taken and the crowd thinned, Ava sat on the edge of the pier, jacket wrapped around her shoulders, staring out at the black water. The night could have ended very differently. She thought about how quickly respect disappears when people think they can take it, how fast chaos finds you when you least expect it. The SEAL paused nearby, then turned to leave. Before he could, she called out to him. "Hey," she said, "what's your name?" He smiled faintly. "Doesn't matter," he replied. "Just remember, most predators rely on surprise. Take that away and they've got nothing." And with that, he disappeared into the crowd, just another shadow moving on. The video of the incident would later go viral. Clips slowed down, analyzed frame by frame. Comment sections filled with arguments and praise and disbelief. People argued about whether it was real, whether it was staged, whether anyone could move that fast. Ava didn't watch much of it. For her, the moment wasn't about fame or outrage. It was about the reminder carved into memory that strength doesn't always announce itself, and protection can come from the most unexpected places. Weeks later, her uniform was replaced, new and unmarked. But she kept the damaged one folded carefully in her locker, not as a symbol of weakness, but of survival. Of the night she learned that even when lines are crossed, they can be redrawn just as quickly. Because those men thought a blade and a laugh made them powerful. They thought they were untouchable. They were wrong. So now I want to hear from you. From which part of the country are you watching this video? Drop it in the comments and let's talk.